identity, you could say. Painful is, something that destroys your identity, actively works against it, and something that is, whatever. Let's just film. Hey everybody, welcome to Seriously Lighthearted Yoga. Today is another Klesha Day number 3.
Thank you. That was
Klesha
is the word that I'm looking for. You could probably read it on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Anyway, what is the third one that we're going to be talking about today, Kai?
Yeah, guys, so Klesha number 3 we call it Raga. Thank you. Raga is attachment to pleasure, and we've already spoken about this idea, as you may recall, in a video we called Vairagya, I believe. Now, if you notice, there is Raga in Vairagya, in a sense, but Vairagya was that dispassion, kind of like not being attached or averse to anything. The attachment side of things is a klesha, and it is something that pulls you out of that awareness of everything. And this attachment to pleasurable things is something that is, in a sense, born out of your ego, your identity, that klesha we talked about the other day, asmita. This attachment to things is part of what defines your identity, right? So, raga is you saying you like something. It is pleasurable to you in some way, and that is a form of ignorance. Remembering all the kleshas kind of trace their roots back to ignorance, and that's a form of ignorance because it's saying when you are attached to that pleasure, that pleasure is more important than some other event, and that is a result of you trying to be this small little thing that is not completely unified to everything else. Recognize that those attachments are divisive in a lot of ways in your practice. They draw you towards them in a sort of magnetic way that also at the same time pulls you away from the rest of the experience. You're looking for only the pleasure aspect in something, and that is very narrowing. And that is why they say attachment to pleasurable sensory objects is something that is bad for your yoga, because it does give you sort of that tunnel vision where you focus only on that one aspect. So notice how raga seems to kind of cut everything else out to get you to pleasure. Recognize if that's happening in your yoga practice. When you're on the mat and you're in a yoga pose, maybe it feels really good for some reason. You just want to hold that pose for a very long time because of that feeling. Notice how the feeling is keeping you in the pose. Maybe the pose hurts really bad, and when you come out, it feels really good, and you want to stay in that feeling. That's attachment to pleasure that we're going for here. So recognize if you are becoming kind of attached to those feelings, attached to the emotions surrounding them, and becoming a little lazy and a little bit slovenly in your practice because of that pleasure. So,
yeah, it can definitely lead to repetition through anything, either in your practice. It can also lead through, you can look at it like going to a restaurant and looking at a menu and always ordering the same thing because you know it's good. It leads to this repetition, this repetitive.
Eventually you stop thinking about how good it tastes, and you just assume that it is good. You don't really experience the flavor.
Yeah, and instead of potentially experiencing something new on the menu, you are using that attachment to what you know you like to dictate what you consume in the sense of a restaurant. But that of course, like I had mentioned, ties directly into your physical practice. Could be even your mental practice if you particularly like a certain type of breathing exercise or maybe meditative practice. It's about breaking that repetition, breaking that pattern, and endeavoring to find something new. So, yeah. Give somebody a high five. Subscribe, like, and share. We'll see you guys all tomorrow.